So when I got started on eBay, I didn't know what to expect. I really just wanted to make some extra money every month, and to my surprise, I made $500 my first month of selling on eBay. And then with consistency and hard work, I started making more money. Okay, so in today's video, I want to share with you how you can make $1,000 every month by selling on eBay, and that's profit, by the way. But before I get started, my name is Celeste. I've been reselling for 3 years, and I left my traditional job when I realized that I was making about the same money on eBay as I was at my traditional job, and only working on it part-time. So for me, I left my job because I wanted that freedom. I wanted to make my own schedule. I wanted to be on my own. And so now, 3 years later, I want to help other people, make money from home as well. So every month when I set goals, I use a sort of formula that I call to determine how much work I need to put in order to make an X amount of money every month, okay? And so I'm using this formula today that is based on my personal data from the past 3 years. And so keep that in mind, okay? And I think this formula will work if you're picky with the items that you choose, and you're looking at sold comps to determine if the item that you're picking up is, selling, is popular, is wanted, people want it. Okay, you're not just picking up any items because it won't work for that. It'll only work for items that are popular. Okay, and then I'll talk about it a bit more as I go. But eBay gives you a 31-day sales, or like a graph of sales. And what I have noticed that I typically take home about 55 to 60% of that. Because that graph also includes shipping, cost of goods, and it includes fees as well, okay? So to be safe, let's say that you're taking home about 50% of the gross sales from that graph that eBay gives you, okay? So in order to do that, then that means that you have to sell, that graph has to say $2,000, okay? And so that you can profit about $1,000 every month. And this could also, be used if you want to make more money or less money, okay? If you want to put in more work or less work, you can multiply by 2, 3, quadruple it, or you can divide it by half or even 1/4, okay? Just depending on what you need, okay? But in this case, I'm just going to say $1,000, and then you can do the math from there. And I'll give you some real life scenarios as well. And so in that 50% off, and I'll talk about it a little bit, you're talking about fees that eBay and PayPal charges you for using eBay and PayPal. You're talking about cost of goods, how much the items are, you're spending on the items. And then you're also talking about shipping, okay? So that's about 50% of your gross sales, okay? So when I look at my Sales Reports Plus, which is a feature on the Seller Hub on eBay, I know that my sell-through rate, or the items I'm selling every month, are about 40% to 60% of what I'm listing every month, okay? So to play it safe, I'm just going to again say that it's about 50%, that I am selling about 50% of what I'm listing every month. I hope this makes sense. So let me give you an example. If I'm listing 200 items every month, then this is saying that my sell-through rate is 50%. So I'm selling about 100 items every month of those 200, okay? And so then that means that, so there's so many different scenarios, and this just has to do with the items that you're finding. You should never make any excuses, and you might say, well, Celeste finds some great things, it's no wonder she makes all this money. No, I don't always find great things, and I'm gonna always tell you that. And of course, I'm gonna show you the great things that I do find, but I also want you to know that I pick up lower end stuff, because sometimes you just can't find everything. You just can't find such great stuff, okay? And so the scenarios that I will talk about will be based on, lower end items, and then we'll go from there, okay? So the scenarios that I came up with are realistic, are, based on my numbers, are similar to my numbers. And then I also included some lower than my numbers because, some of you might say, well, Celeste, you find some really great stuff. And, I never find, enough of the excuses. There should be no excuses. I find great stuff because I work my butt off. Honestly, I'm always, I don't give up. I work hard, and I'm not lucky. I just work hard. So in order to make about $2,000 gross every month. So it really depends on the items that you're finding, okay? So if you find like $20 items that you can sell for $20, you'd need to sell about 100 of those items to make that $2,000 gross every month, okay? And so when I say $20, I mean like a $15 shirt with like $5 shipping, okay? That's what I mean. Because again, it's gross, okay? Because the eBay is counting even the shipping, okay? And so you would need to sell about 100 of these shirts to make $1,000, okay? Because at about $2,000 gross, you are paying about $300 in eBay and PayPal fees, because eBay is about 10%, and PayPal is about 3%. So I estimated it to about 15%. 15% of $2,000 is $300. And then you also have cost of goods, okay? If you purchase 100 items, 100 tops, let's say you shop at the bins and then you also shop at regular thrift stores. Well, I'm pretty lucky that my bins, they only charge about $1.39 per pound. So I practically get tops or shirts for about 50 cents. But if I go to regular thrift stores, I can pay up to like $5 for, and so if I take 50 cents and $5 and I take that average because I'm shopping at both about equally, then it's about, it averages out to about $2.75 per item. So I'm just gonna round it to $3 and say that, for 100 tops, I am paying times 3, I'm paying about $300 for these tops. And then in order to ship, it doesn't always just have to be tops. It could be jeans as well, but just keep in mind that these are going to cost, jeans might cost more because of the weight from the bins, or, just in general, and then also to ship, okay? So another cost that you're going to pay is shipping, okay? So I'm just going to say that they're all tops, but you might mix in some jeans as well. So anywhere from $3 to about $7. So again, I'm going to take the average and say you pay about $5 for shipping. And so when I add up all these fees, it's $300 for PayPal and eBay fees, and it's $300 for cost of goods, and it's $500 for shipping. Then that's about $1,100, and so your profit would be about $900, close to $1,000, if you're selling about 100 items every month, okay? Now let's talk about, how much work you need to put in to list about 100 items, okay? So it really is going to depend on how fast you're listing your items. When you're beginning, it might take you longer, but as you move on, you will get faster. So I'm not going to say, how much it should take you, but it shouldn't take you more than about 20 hours a week. That's my opinion. But again, I've noticed that based on sell-through rate, you would need to list about 200 items to sell about 100 items every month, okay, if that makes sense, okay? So let's talk about another scenario, okay? Now, let's say you are picking up better items, now $25 items, then you would only need to sell about 80 items every month to make that $2,000 gross that you want in order to make about $1,000 profit, okay? So that means that you would need to list about 160 items based on your sell-through rate of 50% if you sell half of what you list every month. And so let's talk about that. Your fees would be, you're listing less items, so it's less work now. And so your fees would be the same, $300 every month, but your cost of goods now, I'm still using that $3 average. Your cost of goods is 80 times 3, so that would cost you less, $240 for those 80 items. And then your shipping would roughly cost you also less, which would be about $400. So at the end of the day, you would only be spending $140 in fees and all that. And so you would make more than $1,000. You would make $1,060 every month. That's another scenario. So, as you find better items, then that you can work less because you don't have to work as hard to list more items. You can definitely list less less items and still make about the same amount of money. So keep that in mind when you're sourcing, so that pass up on those, you know, basic things and things that won't give you a lot of money, because at the end of the day, it's gonna be the time that you're putting in, and it's gonna add up. It's gonna cost you. And then one last thing, another scenario is if you find $30 items, okay? Let's say it's $25, $25 top, that'll cost you about $5 to ship. And it could be jeans, or it could be, you know, dresses as well. Then you would only need to sell about 67 of those items to make about $2,010 per month gross. And then your fees would be way less every month. They would be about $300 for the fees. Your cost of goods would be about $200 because you're only buying 67 items, and then shipping would also be about $335. It would cost you less, so you would make more, guys. So 67 times 2, you would only need to list about 134 items every month. Okay, so my advice to you is, you know, find items that you know you can get the most profit on, but don't pass up on the regular items as well. Don't pass up on the, you know, items that you know that will sell quicker, because everything will average out at the end of the day. And always look at sold comps, and always, you know, follow trends and know what's selling and what brands people like, so that you're constantly learning new things and that you're selling. Okay, I hope this video has helped you to set goals and to make at least $1,000 every month towards your goal. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel because there are future similar videos to come. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. Bye bye.